You said your original name was Goldmouth.
Goldmouth, yes. This was
those gold teeth in your mouth are permanent, right?
Yeah, they were permanent gold teeth. And I started out with 6. I want to say no. When I first went gold teeth, I only had money to buy 1. I put an O first. Then I got money to buy 2. Well, another one. So I had OJ first. Boom. I want to say I was 15 when I did that. I had to get a parent to come sign the paperwork for me to get gold teeth because I went in there thinking they'll just do it. But they saying I was too young. I needed a parent. So I called the dude that I knew that was older and had him act like he was my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like I lived with him. And then I got the OJ first. I probably wore that for 4 years, 5 years, took them out and went, what did I do after I took the 2 out? I took the 2 out and went 4 top, 2 at the bottom. Took them out, went 4 at the top, went 4 at the bottom.
So what made you decide to get them? It's a fashion statement. You just love gold.
Yeah, it was just something from Boulder, Chris. If back then when we was doing gold teeth, if you was from the streets, you had to have gold teeth. Like if you didn't have gold teeth, you weren't solidified.
Yeah, so but everybody didn't have permanent gold teeth.
Huh?
Everybody didn't have permanent gold teeth. Like
coming from where we from, like a lot of people went to Eddie. We knew not to go to Eddie Gold because the thing about Eddie Gold, they was round. You had to go to somebody like Jeffrey, Crook, Broad Street Dental to get the boxed out golds. Like they were boxed out instead of that round bottom like that. Yeah, so we been doing gold teeth, man. I want to say it had to been 96, 98 with my first gold. Probably even before then with the OJ I had I was 14, 15 getting gold. I went to 3 different dentists to get the gold. I seen gold go from 1/50 a tooth to 2/50 a tooth.
Mm-hmm. So, wow. And how many you got now?
8, 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom.
Okay, you serious about yours?
Nah, my mom was like, bro, it's about time to get them out. You don't got too old. You need to go white teeth. I said, maybe. I said, baby, you ain't lying.
Yeah, I always wonder where you got that name from too, OJ the Juiceman. So it was no play on OJ Simpson, none of that?
Yeah, no. OJ Simpson was never involved. My real name is Otis Williams Jr. So the OJ come from Otis Jr.
Got you.
And instead of some people saying OJ, they be like, hey, Juice. And so I always I've been called Juice OJ since Mount Paul when people really start interacting, having friends.
Got you. Okay, let's take it back to rap for a second.
Okay.
You know, in the 04, them Franchise Boys, they drop a huge record, White Tee. Then you and Gucci, you're part of a group, Never Again Family.
Yep,
is that
Never
correct?
Again Family from Gresham Road. Yes, correct. That's my buddy Tyler who had Straight Drop Records. Whoa, we call him Whoa. They switched the label name from Straight Drop Records to Never Again Records.
And y'all drop a record, Black Tee.
Yep, we did.
Was that in direct response? Is that any way a diss? Is it in direct response to the White Tee joint, or you just playing?
No, see, on the east side, what it was, on the east side where we from, we really didn't wear the white tee because white tee didn't go with, like, we wore a lot of black. So out the gate, we was black tee. You can call it Ashy Tee Boys. Might have T5, might wear them more 5-6 days straight. So you already know what the color finna look like on it. So like I always have wore black tee, even if they were ashy. We just been the black tee game.
Yeah, and that's your first real intro into the rap.
To the rap music, yep. Correct.
Yeah, and you come out and you right there with Gucci at this point. But at this point, I don't know, he didn't drop the Trap House joint at that point, did he? Because it's still early in his career.
The Trap House album came when
that came out, I want to think around 2005 or something.
Yeah, when he got with when Gucci got with Big Cat.
Got you. And you know, you said by the time that you came back home after doing the boot camp, you know, Gucci had dropped the Trap House.
Correct.
At this time, the world is taking notice. What was you arrested for? What was you convicted of?
On some street stuff, man. Them charges back then was possession of a firearm. What was it? Possession of a firearm and during the commission of a crime, possession of drugs, and attempt to a fleeing attempt.
Got you. Okay, so a lot your career start building. You come home, you get into this rap thing full time.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, Black T, and I want to say it was on the Trap House album.
Oh, they did. They put the remix of the Black T.
It's the remix,
the one with Lil Scrappy them on it.
Lil Scrap and Jeezy was on it.
Oh, yep, and Jeezy, yep, you right.
Now, was that your first time working with Jeezy?
No, I never really met Jeezy in person. And then around that time, I wasn't around Gucci like that around that time. I was still probably coming out or in the mix of on the way out.
Okay. You could, because I'm looking at this and this is where Gucci's career start going crazy.
Okay, yeah.
And this childhood friend of yours, he's starting to blow for real.
For real.
You know, him and Jeezy on that same album, they make their first hit record.
The So Icy.
The So Icy joint.
Mm-hmm.
Are you home at that time?
Was I home? Don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, but by the time you came home, I'm thinking that song was, right, it is exploded.
Yeah, Exploded. That was his hit song from that album, correct.
And it's crazy because Jeezy and Gucci at one point, they friends, and just the way I say that your story is so synonymous with Gucci, so is Jeezy's in a way.
True.
You know, them two was cool at this. Do you know what started their beef? From what I'm understanding, their disagreement started from that song. Do you know anything about that?
I wasn't present when that was going on, but from what that time that what was going on, yeah, they was probably in disagreement about the actual song. Maybe the paperwork wasn't correct or did correctly before the song exploded the way it did.
Yeah. I know Vlad did a interview with Zaytoven, and Zaytoven was essentially saying that you know, Jeezy wanted it on his album, Gucci wanted it on his album, and that's kind of the way.
See, Zay wouldn't know because Zay was right there in the middle of it. Like Zay was probably there when they recorded the song. Like
Jeezy approached you for ownership of the song, and at the time, he was the bigger artist.
Of course.
He was on Def Jam. You know, he had the Boys in the Hood deal. Puffy was behind him, and you know, the streets were on fire with, you know, the Trap or Die mixtape and so forth. But you actually said, nah, I'm gonna stick with Gucci on the song, who's the actual owner of it.
Well, you got to think, Gucci, this is my guy. This is a guy that come to my house 7:30 in the morning every day. Like we working on music with each other every day. We going to the club every day. We go to the club with our clothes, you know, from the flea market sprayed up with the name of the song that we performing, you know, that night. So there's nobody can come in and say, you know, have me portray Gucci to just because they got a bigger name or who they are. To be honest with you, I was a fan of Gucci more than I was a fan of anybody else. So, you know, I was gonna route him regardless.
How did that affect you? Or did it affect you in any way?
I don't think it really affected me. So
you didn't feel like you was in the middle of any of this stuff?
Not really, no. I wasn't implicated in the middle of none of that, no.
Got you. I know also, you know, in 05 is a big year, not just for you, but for Gucci. That whole Atlanta scene was going crazy
at the time,
around that time. Obviously, we all know Gucci and Jeezy, they fall out. And unfortunately, Gucci winds up catching a case behind fatally shooting one of Jeezy's boys when they supposedly broke into his home.
Okay.
You know, everybody knows the story at this point. But as far as you're concerned, during that period, did that help just to put the whole Atlanta scene under a microscope and the music coming out of that scene on a broader level in some way?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you would think because
it
all
made
eyes was on
news.
Atlanta.
It was big. It was big in Atlanta around that time. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, eventually the charges were dropped.
True.
You know, and Gucci was able to avoid
Jail time.
being locked up behind it, which is, unfortunate. Says somebody lost their life in that incident, but
True.
it really put a huge spotlight again on that scene that was going on down there, because there was so much great music coming out at the time, and you was right there about to blow yourself. Was you affiliated with Gucci when he had any of the beef with Jeezy or BMF at that point?
Yes, we was yeah.
Okay.
I was around at that time. It was certain stuff he would put me in on that I was blind of, and had to know how to maneuver right, because we didn't know. See, the thing is with streets, when it's pressure like that and you don't know every face that the pressure coming from, you got to just be careful.